Today, the organ donation law in England is changing and moving to an opt-out system. So anybody who wishes to not be an organ donor must opt out. Otherwise, from today, every adult in England upon their death will be considered to be an eligible donor so long as they meet certain criteria. So organ donation, why does this issue matter to society? Why does this matter to Muslims? There are currently over 3,500 people waiting for a transplant in the UK. And every day someone dies waiting for an organ transplant. Muslims who are needing an organ donation often wait on average a year longer than non-Muslims to receive a transplant, primarily due to the paucity of donors from similar ethnic backgrounds. And what is the reason for this? Well, the primary reason is the stigma that is against donating organs. There is a stigma towards those who donate organs as somehow they are violating the sanctity of the body, they are doing something that is sinful. And I guess I'm not going to delve into the scholarly debate around sort of the permissibility and of organ donation, but really what I want to talk about is when it comes to Sharia regarding something like organ donation, and this can be applied to different issues across society, we often immediately try and look to the nearest hadith or Quranic verse or scholarly fatwa that codifies a certain diktat regarding an issue. But many of us, when it comes to Sharia, fail to ask the question of what is the purpose? What are the objectives of what the legislation is trying to achieve? And this can be understood in the framework of maqasid al-Sharia, which in Arabic translates to the higher objectives of Sharia, which is basically the idea that when it comes to personal and private practices regarding worship, such as prayer, fasting, it is appropriate for one to follow a literalist approach within the Sharia. But when it comes to worldly affairs and societal issues, one must consider with the Sharia the wider objectives, the wider aims, the maqasid, which is so important in a sense that Muslims should abide by the spirit of the law as opposed to the mere letter of the law. And many of us this Ramadan will have been seeking to build a deeper connection with our deen and deepen our understanding of Islam, emulating the practice of the Prophet, peace be upon him. And in a sense, we'll be trying to find the actions that make us better Muslims, bring us closer to God, perhaps praying more voluntary prayers, giving to charity, composing ourselves better with people. And we may think about what to do, but do we ever ask the question of why? What is the purpose of doing so? And within Sharia, this idea of maqasid gives us an understanding of purpose. And as Muslims, we often say that those outside of Islam don't understand the key principles of Sharia. Yet, some of us Muslims have misunderstood Sharia ourselves. We have misunderstood its true, unique purpose, its areas that it safeguards, what it seeks to promote, to conserve life, faith, family, intellect, and property. We also must recognize that this applicability that Sharia contains, it is a unique openness and flexibility that allows us Muslims to make vast and positive contributions to issues affecting society today. The real possibility of saving life with something like organ donation. This issue doesn't just impact people within the Muslim community, but is also a far wider reaching issue that affects the rest of society. At its core, the choice of an individual to donate an organ is an act of charity. The reward which one attains through a charitable act in Islam is huge. I don't need to name the numerous hadiths and Quranic verses that speak of the merits of charity. But I'd like to conclude with this one verse of the Quran, which for me emulates everything regarding the topic of organ donation and brings in the beauty of maqasid. From Surah Al-Ma'idah, and whosoever saves one, it is as if he has saved the whole of mankind. It is as if he has saved the whole of mankind. This is the beauty that is given to us, and we as Muslims must recognize this, cherish it, and apply it to our daily practices. Jazakallah khair for listening. May all of you have a blessed final few days of Ramadan, and may I wish you all a premature Eid Mubarak. Thank you.